Welcome to 3 Questions with Tad the Diet Coach and Jessica Perales. Welcome back to 3 Questions with Tad the Diet Coach and Jessica Perales.
How
you doing? Now, you're out on the road today, right, Jessica?
Yes, I'm actually in Austin for the weekend. We drove in late last night, and I'm just here on the road. As a matter of fact, I was literally in the line at IHOP waiting for like 30 minutes before my friend, John, my boyfriend, he's like, "Hey, don't you have a show at noon?" And I looked at my phone, like, "Yes." So
hold on. So I'm still stuck on the IHOP part. Aren't you dieting?
No. Well, it's flexible dieting.
It's like flexible diet if it fits your macros, right? Pancakes. I'm going to get all my carbs in on this one meal.
Okay, Dave, don't listen. Don't listen to the show today.
That's okay. It's your one cheat meal for the week, right?
He knows better. He knows better.
All right. Well, today we have a wonderful guest, Ava Cowan. She is, obviously, so many people know about her. She's done lots of covers of magazines,
yes.
And she's also still competing. She's getting ready for a contest right now. I forget which one she told me. I think it's the Tampa. I'm not really sure.
Okay.
So she died. So she said she'd be better off, in the morning time or early afternoon time because her brain works better. So that's what we're calling her that time. But
mine does too.
So I'm excited to talk to her. But before we get into that, and in a couple seconds, our normal plug for Quest Nutrition. I've been using the protein. Now we've sampled the vanilla, the peanut butter, and the chocolate. And I know.
Oh yeah.
Now they also sent I think it's like a generic flavor for cooking, right? Have you seen?
Right. It's like all purpose. You can use it for cooking, baking, all that good stuff.
Yeah, and you've used it, right?
Yes, I've used all of them for baking.
Oh, right. So, and what was your
pancakes, muffins? You name it.
Oh, right.
It's really good.
And you liked it. You said they were good. I haven't used I haven't done any cooking with it yet. I'm not a really great cook. I'll have to get my wife to do it, but see if she'd come up with some muffin recipes. But I think you said you did some muffins, right?
Yes, I love the muffins. I did chocolate, and then I did the vanilla, which I'm not a vanilla fan, but I really like their vanilla. Throw it out there.
Now, normally when I've had stuff before, when people have for cooking, using protein powder to cook, it sometimes doesn't taste the best. Like it tastes very artificial. How did yours taste when you made it?
No, it does not taste artificial at all. I mean, it really tastes good. I mean, I don't know what they do to how to make these flavors stay in there, but they do. I mean, you don't even have to add, I used to add like Splenda or something like that to add extra sweetness. You almost don't even need that.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, well, I'm definitely going to now have. I want to try to make. I would like to try to make like maybe a cake or
their pancakes too. Like with oats and the protein and egg whites. You don't even have to put any egg whites.
Oh wow! Well, if anybody's interested and they want if they want to try the Quest Nutrition protein powder, it's a whey protein powder. We get $5 off with our discount code. Just type in when you check out on Quest Nutrition's website. You type in TAD, TAD, my name Tad, and you'll get $5 off a whey protein canister, up to 5 canisters per customer. So, all right. So we're going to bring Ava on and we're going to start the show. All right, I think we have Ava on. Ava, how you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Now, good. I know you're a little bit tired these days because you're dieting, so we'll give you some latitude for for energy level, right?
Okay, latitude's always good.
Yeah. Now you're out in Florida, right?
I am. I'm in Boca Raton, Florida.
Oh, okay. Nice. Very nice. I'm just curious what the weather's like because I'm still not getting used to this weather in Pittsburgh. It's like summer, kind of pseudo-summer with clouds, but yet it's still kind of warm and it kind of goes off and on. But I think it's nice where you're at, I think.
It's beautiful. I love it here.
Awesome. Now, as you know, the format of the show is we ask 3 questions. I'll ask the first question, and you can answer these questions any way you like. And they're non-industry sort of related questions, but you can answer them in any fashion you want. And then Jessica will ask the second question, and I'll follow up with the last question. And feel free to, like I said, answer them in any way that you want. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. So the first question, I came up with this question. What's the most or I should say, what's the greatest lesson that you've learned in your lifetime, and what made it so poignant for you?
I think the greatest lesson I've learned so far in my lifetime is that where I'm standing right now is a direct result of every single choice that I've made in my life. So, yeah, it's kind of, to me, it's like fascinating, it's like, and I just, when I really stepped into the fullness of what that really means, if there's something in it that I don't like, I have to look back at myself and go, oh, that's a belief I have. That's either a belief I have about myself.
Absolutely.
Actually, that's actually exactly what it is. So, if I looked around and I'm like, well, whatever I don't like, I'm going to work on changing that. So I think that's the best life lesson I learned.
Absolutely, and I have to agree, because I know that for me these kinds of issues and questions are important, and also very fascinating for me too, because I did get a degree in philosophy, but I really feel that this is the way I tell people. I say, in all your problems that you'll ever have in your life, you're always in the center of every single one of them, because they're your problems. But everybody tends to want to sort of point their finger outside of themselves, and so they end up repeating the same problems, because they never face the true nature of what it is that all their issues in their life. And when you have somebody or when you come into a space in your life where you understand that you are the center of every issue, every good and every bad in your life, and that in order to change that trajectory of your life, you have to analyze what decisions you've made and what choices you have and what beliefs you have, because that's the flow of energy in your life that you live in. And so to change that trajectory, you essentially have to make some decisions about what it is that you believe about yourself or about your life or about your perspective, and that all is a very introspective kind of a thing. It's very something that is not outside, because I think the natural inclination for most people is to want to look outside of themselves to find the solutions for their answers, and I know, and I'm kind of influenced by Eastern thought, but I know that we have to, all of the answers to all of our questions in our life, no matter what kind of question it is always within us. The answers are always with us. So I'm with you on this. I find it really fast. I don't know. Do you subscribe to these kinds of? I mean, I'm just curious about. It sounds like you've done some introspection and some really forward thinking and some sort of and trying to open yourself to different ways of understanding yourself. It sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, it's without question. It's a journey that I've been on. It's a path of contemplation daily, actually, in the moment.
Oh, yeah.
I've just stepped into a new awareness, and with that, comes a lot of learning and a lot of truth seeking for me. And I think it all started with I wanted to find God.
Oh, wow. And, spiritual choice.
I couldn't find him. But I was looking, I think, for a lifetime. And it's like, I was just outside of, he was always outside of reach, because I just didn't understand. So, because I was not raised religious, I have no affiliation, no tie, nothing to formulate any opinion.
Oh, wow.
Which in a way is actually really cool, because I didn't have anything to fall back on in terms of I was taught this, so I better think that. So I started with a totally blank slate, and I went on a journey, and I'm still on it. But
wow, that's beautiful.
It's the best thing that's ever happened. I mean, it started a couple years ago, but it really a year ago solid is I was in. I mean in the quest. So it took me down paths of Christianity, spirituality, every single thing I could come upon that made sense to me, actually, or didn't make sense to me. I just wanted to learn. So the goal being is to find the truth.
Right.
So despite what other people say, do, or think, because it's walking into a knowing, and I don't need to have other people tell me this is what's right. This is what's right. And
absolutely.
I just was like, I don't know what this is. Like, if there's, a certain mindset or belief or a judgment, I went, whoa, I don't want, I wanted to find out more. So that's kind of what I've been up to.
No,
that's good stuff right there.
Yeah, it's the I'm on that same kind of journey. It's been something that's been of high interest to me. It's the reason why I went to seminary when I was in graduate school. I didn't, although I think today I'm in a much more open space, spiritually and also personally. So I take a much more broader reach and a broader understanding of myself and also my own spirituality, and it is so unique and independent of each person. As a matter of fact, I really, it's really exciting to hear you talk about that because I'm on this same quest as myself,
yep.
and I've said it to other people before, whether people realize it or not, we're all on a spiritual journey. We're all on a journey in life, and whether they realize it or not.
That's totally correct.
Yeah, and the exciting part is that there's no wrong path. It's we travel the path that we're on, and like you said, being in the moment, and enjoying the space where you're at, and instead, because I think as a Western culture, we are somehow tied to this notion that everything is destinational. Like we have to be everything. We have to get to a place. We have to acquire. Yeah. We have to acquire this. We have to be in this position. We have to have this, or everything is always in the future. Happiness is actually now. It's not in the future. And we don't need to be in some place to have it. It's a choice we make, and that choice happens whether we like it or not. And people who are always looking forward are always looking forward. They're never happy with where they're at, and it's great to, I think, have goals and to look forward and to plan for certain things, but not without losing sight of what's in the now. So I think I think you're absolutely right, and it's the same kind of intellectual, spiritual journey that I've been on, and that I encourage other people to be on, because, like I said, whether they realize it or not, they're on it.
I find myself, but I was raised in church. My father was a pastor, so I'm a preacher's daughter. A lot of y'all know that already, but and I strayed. I went away, and I kept telling myself I was trying to find God, but He didn't actually go anywhere. It was me.
Right.
And correct. And once you have established that relationship and you have that strong foundation, everything else will fall into place if you have Him as a priority in my life. In my life, that's how I feel. So I'm sure you can elaborate on that.
Yeah. Yeah, because the truth is that God is everything and everywhere.
Amen.
So there's nowhere to go away from. It's like you need to step into, or not. It's a choice, but that's a part of our free will choice. So I just choose happiness and joy and peace, and I choose my reality.
Absolutely.
Despite the outside world, there's feelings, there's an energy exchange in that, and it's figuring out how to use that exchange of energy in a way that you don't go off. You know what I mean? You see it, you feel, and then you move through it.
You have been. You must have been doing some of the similar kinds of reading that I've been doing, because I totally agree. I get this. I totally get this, and I think the people that get it understand how to manifest in their life, and it's because because when you look at, as a matter of fact, I think yesterday I posted up something about and it was an Einsteinian quote, and it really didn't have anything. My post didn't have anything to do with Albert Einstein, but I forgot that I had actually saved this picture some time ago, and it was it speaks about energy, and I truly believe this, and here's how it goes. This is what I posted, and this was my statement. I said, love is an energy that, if you allow it to, can flow through your existence and transform your human experience. Don't be afraid to embrace this energy. I don't wish peace or love on anyone. I act and deliver peace and love on all that I encounter. Forget nice euphemisms, live your principles, and be the reality you wish to see manifested in others. And so I was looking for a cool picture to post with this.
Wow.
And here's...
Well, I actually, it's funny because I just got goosebumps, and that's my...
Yeah, me
that's
too.
My yeah,
Oh, wow, well,
it's funny because that's how I react when I hear... when I hear those kind of things, that's the frequency.
Exactly, and that's what. And it's kind of funny you use that term because I used it a lot. Sometimes people don't get it when I talk about frequencies, but this is the quotation from the picture that I put with it that has a picture of Albert Einstein. That it's a quote from Albert Einstein. He says this: "Everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy. This is physics." Albert Einstein. And I was like, yes, that's the way I want. I was like, I want to use that. So it matches so nicely to what we're talking about, and it's so true, so true. And I think a lot of people just. I was raised like you, Jessica, in a very conservative Christian environment. Although today I don't hold to many of those religious precepts that I once did, not because I find them invalid for anybody, because I don't. I think that we all have a unique and valid spiritual experience, but it has to have power for you. If it has power for you in your life, then I always have said, use it, go with it. But it won't. Yes. But not everybody's going to find that same power in their life.
I don't know. I always feel like if you don't find it, you are missing something pretty amazing.
Right. Well, I mean, I think that my point is that I think that we all can find it in different ways. We all don't have to have this. It's like saying, well, there's only one way to in a terminology that we would understand, there's only one way to diet. No, there's not. There's many ways. There's only one way to work a certain body part. No, we could work it in a whole bunch of. There's only one kind of job to get. No,
right.
There's all kinds of different kinds of things we can do, and that will make us happy. And I don't think that that the infinite nature of if you want to call it God, I call it love. I think that the creative force in the universe is love. I call it love.
Well, guess what? God is love.
That's right. Well, and I say, well, I use terminology that excites me, and that's my point. That I think these are just metaphors for the same thing that we're all still talking about. But everybody gets caught up in the metaphor. They get caught up, oh, no, you have to define it this way. No. We can define it the way we want. I happen to define it by saying, because I feel like existence is like an ocean of love, and we are drawn from it, and when we stay apart from it, we don't connect ourselves to it continually. Then we become disconnected, and we become some bad things could happen in our existence, in our life, in our experience. And,
that's right.
and people feel like you did, like I did, like they feel disconnected from their source, disconnected from their spirituality, disconnected from their life, and they unknowingly don't know why they're unhappy. Because I believe it's our birthright to live in bliss, to be happy our entire lives.
Yes.
I believe we teach ourselves to be other. We teach it. We say, in order for me to be happy, I have to drive this kind of car, I have to have this kind of husband, or this kind of wife, or this kind of job, or to make this much money, or have this kind of status, or have this kind of thing. And that's just bullshit. It's just crap. It doesn't. It's great. It's great to have those things, but it's not the definition of what it makes to make us happy. Because everybody knows the saying, like, money doesn't make you happy. This doesn't make it. No, we say that, but yet so many people still act out in the ways that tried to produce this happiness in their life, and it's
right.
And it's kind of, and I think it takes a spiritual journey to come to some of those realizations. It really does.
It does, and I have to tell you, it's like I'm so grateful that I started. I started out with Christianity, and I got baptized this year, and it just moved me into a shift that I've been experiencing for the past year, and I think that that's what's available and open to the world.
Absolutely.
And that's what I know. So it's like, what am I going to choose to do? If I understand that there's a better life available to me, how do I do that? Am I willing to do that? And if I'm not willing to do that, I better be willing to bring that frequency, negativity, situation, relationship is going to keep presenting itself until I'm able to move through it with love and blessing to them, so that I don't have to have an exchange again. You know, it's like,
right.
I'm like, I'm not willing to, someone cuts you off or, am I going to go down that whole rabbit hole of anger and where it's like, there's just an acceptance in reality. So accepting it for what it is, and that alone, that one little thing can move you into the path of this bliss you're talking about.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. This is the stuff that I've always been so excited about. And I think early on when I was younger, I don't know about you, but when I was younger, I didn't know how to express it. I didn't know how to investigate it. I didn't know how to really dig into it. And mainly because looking back, I was probably caught up in really too hard, for lack of a better way to describe it, hard definitions or too limited in the ways in which that I was thinking about my own. I was just so limited in how, I guess that was part of my journey. So now I accept it as part of my.
Well, it's funny because I kept hearing I would go to church, and I was raised Catholic around my great aunts. I mean, they were Catholic, but I never was connected into that as a child. Like, I think children are so all-knowing and so advanced and so close to God. And, I appreciated, how loving that those two women were to me, but the actual religion of itself and the confinement and the rules made me feel it didn't resonate with me. And I think that if it resonates with you, like you were talking about earlier,
yes.
when you said, whatever it is that brings you to God, you'll know inside. It resonates with you and you go, yeah, I can do this. Yes.
Absolutely.
So, it's really, and then as you shift in your awareness, other words and things like that won't be so off-putting, because I remember 7 months ago, I ran into a group of people because I'm on the quest, like I said, and they were using words that I was like, what are these people are total. I was like, I'm like, these people are crazy, dude. I mean, I literally in my mind, I really was. I was like, and this is not, I've learned fast, but I was like, and then I go to my Christian friends and they're like, you gotta stay in the Word. I'm like, I am in the Word. I couldn't be in the Word. I'm like, dude, I couldn't be any more in the Word than I am. You know what I mean? I'm praying, I'm doing this, I'm learning to meditate, whatever that is. At the time I didn't know, which I know now is just being present. But it's like, I was like, what this is? Like, I felt like I've been in a whirlwind, but I think that, talking about it, people hearing it, and they're like, oh, you know what? I'm going through that too. That's what's going on, because I think it's a global shift. So,
what? I'm so glad you said that, because I've said this to other people in the recent, and I feel it. I know it. I know that there is the global consciousness, for lack of a better word, the global consciousness is shifting. It's changing. It's absolutely changing. People are thinking differently. There's different things going on, and I don't know what the reason is, but for whatever reason, I could feel that it's happening. How people are thinking.
Evolution. It's the evolution of our birthright.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right.
We signed up for this.
We did,
you know what I mean? This is the time we signed up for.
Exactly.
This evolution. Yeah. And to talk about it now.
Well, I would say the next question, but I'm afraid it's going to run into the same one.
The same time.
We're so excited about this.
But go ahead, ask the question.
Yeah, I'll ask the second question. And I probably already know the answer because we've been talking about it, but what excites you most these days and why?
Full consciousness. The quest for total awareness, enlightenment.
See, I knew
what life. Yeah.
I knew I liked you for a reason.
Yes.
Because that's what it.
I love your happy
it's like listen, I'm getting up at 4 a.m. in the morning. I used to go to bed at 4 a.m. I mean, my vibrations were so low. Like, I meditate, I clean my chakras, I do all these things because I'm like, there's this energy. So I'm like, I gotta be every day. If I want to feel good, not only is it first a thought, the thought, and then it becomes the belief. And then I'm like, what tools can I use in life? Like clean food, no processed, no gluten, like all the things that so that I can be my highest functioning frequency.
Wow. You are speaking the language at which that I'm constantly involved in. This is it. I started to do this this last year as well. I started to meditate. I meditate usually twice a day. In the morning when I get up and when I go to bed. It's the idea is for me to connect with my source and to be present in the moment, and to clear myself of all the distractions and all the noise, the clutter, the noise that can oftentimes clutter our lives and to confuse us. I live in a different way, and it's for the same reason, because I'm on a journey. And it's a spiritual journey. It's one that I'm very, very, very excited about, and I know that it's transforming. I know that everything in this life is energy. I know that if you stay in the right frequency, that you can manifest what you want in your life. But most importantly, that you can have. And I've said, it's kind of funny you use the word birthright, because I've said this many, many times. I said happiness is our birthright. That is exactly what we were designed for.
Say it.
And it's like that. But people think they have to earn it. No, it's not something we earn. It's something that we already are, that is bestowed on us, and we just have to accept it. We just have to open our arms and embrace it. And that's hard, because I think life, our culture and our life and the messages that we hear from the time we're little to the time we're an adult to the time we die says that we have to earn everything good in life. And that's just not the case. Everything good in life was
right. That's what we're taught, and that's what we're going to have to
unteach. Yeah, right. Exactly. And you are actually right. I'm glad you mentioned it earlier, that children are. I know, because my daughter, she's 6, and I've watched her grow up these last 6 years, and she, it was one of the most enlightening experiences I've ever had to have a child, and she, they're just born happy. She's just the happiest thing, and I can see how you're taught to be other. And she is so connected. She's so connected into her experience. Everything is about right now, and it's such a beautiful thing in many, many ways. And then I catch myself wanting to pull her into my experience sometimes, and it's not a good thing.
Yeah, no, you can't really. It's like I don't even really. It's funny that I'm even doing this interview right now, because my life is so introspective. The circles are small, and because it is.
Well,
it's a journey. It's a little unique, but I don't think for long. I think, I go on the internet and I'm thinking, oh, we're all connected. And then I looked at my phone yesterday and I'm like, through this. I mean, through many things, but like everything that pops up and all the stuff that's coming out, we all like scroll through, and it's like, that's if I choose who's on there. I started accepting a lot of friends on there, and I had to delete because it's what's in your sphere. Like,
absolutely.
Those messages, so I delete that. But I'm like, gosh, we're all connected, not just on a, spiritually and all that stuff, but like actually physically. And I'm like, if you want to keep it real simple, I'm like, we are. So whatever you post and you put out there is what we're perpetuating.
And I definitely am a big believer that like attracts like, and that the law of attraction is very, very strong, and that it's not coincidence that, like you say, like, oh, I'm surprised I'm doing this interview. It's not surprising to me, given the nature of what you are, the journey you're on today, because it's the same journey I'm on. It's the reason why I did this show. It's the reason why I made this show and my other show, because
it's amazing, because maybe this message is going to impact somebody out there that needed to hear this today, that's looking for their spiritual journey.
Absolutely.
So I believe everything is for a reason, and maybe God is using you right now to, talk to these people out here that are listening.
Yeah.
That's why I've been put on the earth.
Right.
That's where I'm moving. That's my direction. And once I figured out what I'm doing on the earth, I was like, I'm glad you finally told. I told myself, I'm like, what am I just couldn't find it. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? And then I realized that the journey that I was on, through fitness, the competing, and those experiences, and the hair, and all the different things. I mean, like, you know what I mean? The whole thing is like, it was kind of treacherous there. It was the neck surgery, what I mean? The neck surgery and all this. And I'm like, dude, God is just arming me up big time. Like,
don't you find it you have a amazing? Like in the Bible, it talks about 1 Timothy. There's a scripture in there that talks about physical training and spiritual training. So physical training is important, and they promote that, but your spiritual training is what's going to get you there.
Yeah, because who cares how great you look if you're miserable? It's like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
no, it doesn't. It's like it's not a payoff. You're like, forget it.
You mentioned earlier, Ava, that you were you deleted people and you were keeping your sphere a certain way, so to speak, your sphere of influence or that influences you, I assume. So how do you? I'm curious because I struggle with this at times because I'm very accessible out there in the space and in the industry, and sometimes I have to really guard my energy, so to speak, because because you can be affected by if you get the wrong people around you, you get the wrong energy around you, it could bring you down. It can really affect your mood, how you feel, what your experiences are like, what your experience is like. So how do you guard yourself, or do you? I mean, I'm just curious.
I have to. Yeah, I mean, because I'm living in the light. I mean, I'm the light.
Right.
And so that attracts things, and also I also understand that when that is around me, usually it's not attracted to me that much, or it is, and I have to look at it and go, what is it in that person that I have seen or has been a part of me at some point on my journey? So
why are they coming? So like, why are they coming?
Seeing yourself, but not only that, it's like because they're there, and then I just think, well, maybe something I say may spark something in them because we all have God within us.
Yes.
Yep. So I'm, and I'm like, well, and it's also, it is blessing that person, even if they come at me and they hate me or my enemies, because if I don't do that with them, that same situation in another name is going to come up, and I'm going to be like, oh, dude, I don't want to date that guy. I don't want to work for that guy. I don't want to live with that guy. And I don't want to shake hands with that guy. So I have to actually look at him and go, what is it about them that I see in me? And then it brings you to a place of understanding that we're not all the same, and it's of non-judgment.
That's really hard in our society. I think our society sort of teaches us to judge, teaches us to pass judgment. It does, and we do it so often, and we do it sort of covertly and subversively in ways that most people don't realize. We do it by the questions that we ask. So, for instance, when men in this country, for instance, or I'll use women in this country, for instance, are defined by their relationships. The first question that any woman's ever asked you typically is, "Are you married? Do you have children?" And it's because we're always trying to define each other by in some way put each of us in a box and figure out who and what kind of person this person is. How do I interact with this person? And the first question that men are always asked is, what do you do for a living? Because you're instantly trying to assess status, power, and these kinds of things. And so it's really interesting that those are all judgmental things. I would love to see a world. Maybe I'm just a little utopiastic, but I'd love to live in a world where those questions are really quite irrelevant. It's one of the reasons why I've always been in love with some of the fantasy genre stuff, like the Star Trek stuff, because like in Star Trek, you don't have. I don't know if you're a big fan or not, but they don't all, if you watch the series or you watch the movies, all these people, they perform at such a high level of efficiency, and they do it all for free. They don't get paid for it. And they make a point to say, because Gene Roddenberry, when he first conceived of this Star Trek sort of genre, there was like this, it was in the late 60s. So hippies were really popular, free love, all this kind of stuff. And sort of these communes were very popular. And the idea of tuning out of society, of getting out of this sort of rat race and not buying into all of the things, the capitalism and everything else that we sort of buy into today and did then. And so it was born from that kind of consciousness at the time. And so I think, but it resonates very deeply with me because it was like, wow, what a great world to live in if we all did what we did in life because it was the good thing to do, because it furthered humankind, because there was a greater cause, and not because it just benefits me. That's the part that because that's what most of us do. We do what we do because it benefits us. And if it doesn't, most people don't do it. Now, I'm not saying everybody does this, because there's a lot of people that do have altruistic, values, and they have a higher meaning to their life. But at the core of the core of the reason why most people even have a job is to pay for their own life. And that's, and we have to, of course, but
Right,
but at the same time, we only have to because we believe we have to, and we only have to because our culture sort of enforces it in many ways. Because, obviously, what are we going to do? Go off and live in the mountains?
Well, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Probably. I'm thinking Arizona or Montana. I don't know. It depends on what happens in the world.
I would love to go to Sedona, that's for sure.
Yeah, Sedona. I've never been, so
I haven't either.
I have, but not in the way that I'd like to go.
Right.
Not through their airport. You know what I mean?
Oh, right. I just heard it's like a really cool artisan community, and there's it's sort of supposedly, and I don't know all the details, but it's like a nexus for a lot of the kinds of people who share these kinds of ideas that you and I are talking about. It sounds really cool, but also it's nice. It sounds like it's nice weather as well.
It wouldn't be terrible. It'd be nice.
Yeah. All right. So, our last question here, and this one, I came up with this question. I really like this question. I think I might have asked Jim Manning this question. I'm not sure, but if you could go back to a younger 20-year-old Ava, what advice would you give her and why? And you can change your mind later, but as it stands today, what kind of? If you can go back,
it's going to in the next 24 hours. I'm going to already come through so many different epiphanies that it'll probably.
I should have said that. That's why.
Gosh, that's why I'm like. It's not. I'm like, by the time it gets out there, I'll be a whole different person.
Well, as it stands at this very moment in space and time.
Gosh, what could I? I think just hold on, because I really had a rough time in my life. I can't say I've had the easiest time, and I think because of that, I had to be very self-reliant on my entire life. So that journey and all those experiences
you mean like
have gotten me to, independent is a mild understatement. I've been out of the house since I was not even graduated high school, and I never went back. So, I've been on my own a long time. So, self-reliance, and gosh, I wouldn't really know what to say, because other than everything's exactly the way it's supposed to be, so that you can become that woman you are.
Ooh, that's what I just got chills on that one.
Jessica and I were kind of talking about this question earlier, and I said I don't know what I would say either, because I don't regret my decisions that I've made, and while they were challenging, I haven't had it easy in many points in my life either. But I definitely, I would say this. This is what I would say to myself probably, that I'm sort of a stickler for details. I'm sort of anal retentive. I'm sort of one of those type A personalities in general. In most of my life I have been. It's made me successful. It's also given me challenges with relationships and with other things. But at the same time, I would say don't sweat the small stuff. It sounds so cliche, but ironically, it is so poignant for me. It's like, don't get tied up in some of those details. It doesn't matter so much. Some of the things that, because I think I put so much importance on some of those details. Some of those, I got locked into a certain way of thinking, a certain acquisition, something I wanted to do or accomplish. And I was just so dead set on it that it really blocked my vision of what was going on. And I probably missed. I can certainly tell you that it was my first marriage that was 10 years, and we were together for 12. I blinked and it was gone. And I told myself I would never do that again. I really, while I don't regret my decisions because it put me on the path that I'm on today, it put me on the journey that I'm on. It sure would have been nice to be able to remember more of it, or be able to. appreciate it.
You aren't kidding.
Because I never wanted to be one of those people that said, "Oh, I wish I would have appreciated I wish I would have appreciated this when I had it." I'm always telling my wife, I'm like, "Hey, don't complain about your body, because when we're in another 40 years, when we're like 80 something years old, you're going to wish you had your 40-year-old body. You're going to wish you appreciated it and not complained about it, because it's all about perspective.
That's true.
At 40, we look back at our 20s and we go, "Oh man, there's some attributes I had then that I wish I kind of had today. But today, I'm glad I'm where I'm at today. But yet still, it's like it'd be nice to."
Of course, I want the answers to the test, of course. But that's just not the way it is. How it rolls out. That's the lessons learned, and that's why we're here, is to accomplish those lessons and get through them, transcend them. And so
I have some teenage children and nieces and nephews, and I always tell them, because they're my nephews and nieces, they're not in very good places. Families very erratic, drug abuse, prison, you name it. That's how the direction that their life's going. But I always tell them that they can be anything they want. They can do anything they want. They can go anywhere they want. I said, all you have to do is choose it and do it. And
believe it. You must believe it
in your heart.
Absolutely.
You can. You have the ability to succeed. Because believe me, I was a teenage pregnant kid. I had 3 children. I have a grandson now. But during those times in between, there was plenty of nights of partying and drug abuse and blackouts to, waking up one day and where the hell am I at, But God has put me through all those things to make me a better person. And now my life is just wonderful. I have no complaints about my life. I am truly, truly blessed. So that's what I try to tell kids. That's what I tell everybody.
Well, I think those like you. I think you alluded to this earlier, Ava. That everything in our lives is set before us to teach us something, and those lessons are important for us. The reason why why we have challenge in our life, and pain for that matter, is to force us to grow. If you don't grow through success, right, or through things that you already know, you make no strides forward in your life. But you make all kinds of strides forward when you accept your challenges and you learn from them, and you accept your pain and you grow from it. That's how real progress is made and evolution is made. As a matter of fact, that is exactly, I tell my clients this all the time, that's exactly how the body works. You put it in a position of uncomfortability whether it be through training or diet, and your body evolves. It actually adapts to those. But if you don't challenge it, if you don't put it in that uncomfortable space, it won't adapt, because it doesn't need to. And so therefore, we are the same way. If you are content, they say I don't know who said it, but I've heard it somewhere, that contentment is the killer of aspiration or of growth. And it's like, and in many ways, it's
unconditional.
And what's built within that is that contentment means that everything is okay, everything is comfortable. And
I thought you said contingent.
No.
I thought you said then, like in reliance upon, and I'm like, oh no, so no, okay, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. So, and I guess the point is that, well, we in order for us to grow in life, we have to face those. So whenever, I've said this before, whenever I am faced with a challenge these days, and it wasn't, by the way, it wasn't always this way. I had a very different perspective earlier on in my life, but at 45, I have the perspective that whenever I come against pain or a challenge, I always make a point to, before I start do any of my analytics, my self-analysis and my critical thinking, I say thank you, because it is there to help me. It is my biggest teacher, my best mentor. All my pain and all my challenges are there, set before me as prophets in my life to lead me to a better place. If I allow them to. If I just see it as pain and something that I don't like, because I see people moan and groan about their life all the time, about the things that are going wrong, and that's fine. And hey, that's their deal. But it won't get you too far.
Right.
It
no,
won't.
it doesn't. It really doesn't. And yeah.
So
I just keep it, and I think, in the way that I go about even the day-to-day activities, because like I said, this is all very new for me, but so I keep it really simple. And the thought I have, the question I ask is love or fear? Is the feeling love or fear?
Oh,
so
nice.
within every situation, every decision, everything, like even waiting for the phone call when you got, like, am I constricted in fear? Or am I just flowing and coming from love? So it's just as simple. I mean, because your mind, you start going into that whole thing, and I go, well, I'm going to keep it real simple. Is it love, God, or fear? Not of God, of God. So I know which way I'm going. So even within little situations, like I had a phone interview, and this is just a basic. This is as basic as I can say it, but it was just happening to me yesterday. Like I said, 24 hours, a lot goes down. And just kidding. So I had a phone call, and it was important, and I was getting my carpet cleaned that day at some time. So at 12 exactly, I need to call this person, and it's important. The guy that came to clean the carpet was right at 12, and I hear a knock, and I go, that's right. I'm starting to, it's like I'm stepping outside of the matrix, I call it, and like I'm going, here's a lesson. Am I going to be uptight that the guy's here to clean the carpet and be anxious and go down that path of controlling and fear and all that? Like I want to control the phone call and what happened, the whole thing.
Right.
And I'm like, I let him in. The cats are here, and he's like, can you watch the door? And I'm calling the guy. I'm like, he goes, can you watch the door so the cats don't get out? Now I'm thinking, this is awesome. God is just it's just funny. I'm like, okay. So I'm on the phone. I'm making sure the cats can't get out. It could have been a totally, I could have taken it to another level, got stressed out. It could have affected the call. And I'm like, no, this is exactly how it's supposed to go, because I need to have him come in. He was such a cool guy, and clean the place. And I was just like, this is just what it is.
That's awesome.
No matter what happens, I'm like, here we go. And it's like a type of synchronicity. It's like an awareness of stepping outside of what's going on, but being fully present. But yes. I'm like, oh, this is cool. So it's just stuff like that where I'm like, I'm more aware to go, oh man, this is something that could have normally made me nervous.
I love the term that living in the present. I love the way that you're saying that, because it makes sense. Focus on what's in front of you at the time. Don't worry about what's supposed to happen next.
There's not I
tend to do that all the time. Yeah. I tend to do that in my own life. I tend to worry, okay, I got to do this and I have to do that. No, you have to do what's right in front of you right now.
Yeah,
I love that.
That's it.
Well, I think I think that it's the nature. It's sort of built into the messages in our culture. Oftentimes, that we're always, like I said before, we're always looking forward. We're always looking forward. There's always something else to do. There's always something else on the checklist. There's always something else that's to be done. And if we're not doing something, it's funny because it's like, I enjoy my meditations for one of the big reasons why I enjoy my meditative time every day is because it allows me to be. That's it.
Yeah.
Not to
That's all meditation is.
Yeah. And it's like I don't have to worry about anything. I don't have to. There's no time schedule. I don't even worry about the time. I don't. It's just something that, and I think we grow up in a culture that does not foster being in the moment, being present in the moment. We talk about it, I think, as a culture sometimes, and you might see it. It might be a great message in a movie or a book somewhere, but very few people really, really, really make a point to try to live in the moment. So people say they do. I love it when I see these things that people post, or these people that people say they say things like, "Live with no regrets." Like, well, if you have no regrets in your life, then you probably didn't live. It's like, because you didn't make any mistakes, and if you don't make mistakes in life, then you're not learning and growing. And if you're not learning and growing, then you're probably staying right exactly the same spot you were when you first were born. And that's really not a great spot to be in. If we need to constantly flow and move through this life and this journey. I don't want to be in the same spot that I was when I was 20. I want to be in a different spot. I want to be in a better spot. I want to be evolved. I want to continue to be enlightened, to enlighten myself on a daily basis. And the only way I can do that is if I can challenge myself myself if I continually open myself to something new and other. And a lot of that is being, like you said, being present in the moment, being here and now, understanding where I'm at. And it's the only way to, and this, so I find it kind of hilarious and kind of funny.
Well, it's not easy in the beginning. It's a, like moving. It's moving in a different way. It's like doing a new exercise. It's
Right.
like it's like a muscle that you have to work on. It's like, what does it mean to be like in the moment, in present? What does that look like? What does it feel like? So, for me, I just look around where I am, and it really reconnects me with where I am right now. I'm looking around at my windows and the ceiling, and sometimes that's what you have to do, to just go, oh wait, this is what it is, and that it's really as simple as that. It's hard to do sometimes, but it is really simple.
Yeah, I think it is hard to do. I think, again, like I keep going back to this notion that our culture programs us, but I feel it's so true in this instance that our culture does, in many ways, and our parents, our friends, how we grow up, the messages we hear, all program us to sort of not be happy with where we're at. So the new program, the new message would be that it is easy. This is easy. You change what you say. So we just said it's hard. So let's say, you know what? It's actually easy. I'm here right now and I'm doing it. I'm doing it, right.
So it's a shift in perspective.
Yeah, and I say it differently a little bit, but I agree with you 100%. I say it slightly differently, and that's that, I'm good. I am good. And I think that because built within this, to me, the message that I hear, maybe it's just me, but when being not happy with yourself means that you're not good, that you need to somehow be better than you already are. And I say we were born perfect. That there's nothing wrong with anybody. We were born perfect. We teach ourselves that we are not, and so we strive to make ourselves better. But yet, the real essence of who we are is already great. It's already good. It's already perfect. And
but if you're not there, like if
you're right.
See that? Yeah, if you can't see it, and because believe me, I'm just like, there's. If you can't see it, then no matter what anyone says.
Well, like you said, it's your belief.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's your belief. If what your reality is your belief, and if you believe it, if you don't believe, if you believe something to be true, it will be true in all of its consequences in your life. And so absolutely. Well, you know what, Ava, I am pleasantly surprised that we had such a wonderful conversation about this topic, because I never expect to be on this topic on this show.
That's another show.
It's right on time.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. I'm so pleased, and you're on a wonderful journey. I really, really, really commend you for that. I think it's awesome. It's the same kind of journey that I'm on, and so I applaud you for that. And I wish it. And now I know that you're preparing. I think you were preparing for. You told me you were preparing for another show, right?
Yeah, I decided to compete. Yeah, I'm doing the Tampa Pro.
Tampa, that's what I figured. Yeah, Tampa. So good luck with your prep with that. It's what?
Thank you.
How long? How much time we got? My schedule in my brain.
It's 8 weeks.
8 weeks. Oh, okay, so you still got 8 weeks. Well, good luck. I'll probably see you there. But no matter what, good luck. I know you'll do well. I know you'll be in the moment.
Thank you.
And I know you'll appreciate it.
I have a picture on my phone of you when I did figure in my figure days. And I always said, I want to look just like her. I remember I was doing a show one time, and somebody said, your abs look like Ava Cowan. And I was like, oh, my God, I've done it. So I've always been a huge fan of yours.
Thank you.
Well, Ava, you have a most excellent rest of the weekend, and we both want to thank you for being on the show. I personally want to thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me on the show and for sharing this moment.
Oh yeah. And keep me posted on your journey. I would love to hear about any new senses of enlightenment. I'm always involved, or somebody you're reading about that's exciting for you, because I'm always interested in stuff like this.
Well, for those who don't know,
I'll keep you posted.
Okay.
Yeah, for those who don't know, I guess they can find you on social media.
Yeah, I'm everywhere. Ava Cowan. So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'm all over all over the place.
Now, and just in case, is there anybody sponsors or anybody you want to thank or anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Oh my gosh, I want to first thank God for getting me here, and the God within for finding me.
Yes, I like that. I like that.
Finding the God within, and I'd like to thank Divine Nutrition. I'm working with them right now, and I'd like to thank you guys for
thank you
for having me on the show because it's given me an opportunity, one that I didn't expect it, but it's a blessing, and I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Well, good luck on your prep, and we'll see you at the shows, okay?
Okay, I'll see you guys. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
All right. Well, gosh, I didn't expect to have that kind of conversation with Ava, which is awesome because, that's the kind of...
I love hearing stuff like that. I mean, people on their spiritual journeys and, where they've been. I just love that. It just does something to me every single time and almost gives you like a little burst of energy in your own life.
It absolutely does, but it's the kind of subject matter and the kind of thought that I'm always involved in. But people probably already knew that just if they watch my posts and stuff. And I'm always, and it comes from, I don't know if it comes from. Well, I've always been interested in the spiritual, in the journey of life, in what makes us happy, in what how do we grow, how do we be better than we were yesterday, and those are the things that I think that make us human, and they're also things that make us really truly divine and great. They make us, they give us that extra that something special that make us who we are. Yeah. They also give us limitations in many ways.
I hope this definitely helps somebody out there listening today, and I'm sure it will, like it has myself today. So.
Oh, good. Well, now normally we do another thing. We do another like taste test or something with Prime. We were for our second sponsor, Prime Nutrition, but we're not going to do that. We're going to. I want to talk about their Partition MD because I've been using it, and I love this product. I don't know if you've used it yet, but
what is the name?
The Partition MD.
No, I haven't tried that yet.
Partition MD, it's a really interesting product, and I didn't know a lot about what they were doing with this product until more recently. It's kind of a new product, I think, in the last 6 months or so, and it is. I think it was motivated by and formulated by John Meadows there on their team, and it is a really. It's really actually it's a really great product. They have one of the ingredients in it that is. That is really special, that makes the product special, is the berberine, and they have their own version which is called super berberine. I'm not sure exactly how they superize it, but I put berberine on people's programs before because it's an herb that you can buy, but theirs is a more potent, I guess, more bioavailable version. But what it does, it helps the body to partition what they call partition nutrients better, or deliver nutrients to cells better. But how it does it, berberine acts a lot like metformin or glucophage. And what metformin does is it reconditions the cells in the body so that you're not as insulin resistant, and that's really, really important, especially as we age, because we naturally acquire a certain degree of insulin resistance in our body, and that keeps our tissues. What that does to our tissues is it forces the body to have to produce more insulin to do the same job as it did before. And you need insulin. Insulin is a storage hormone. It tells your body to store nutrients. Fats, proteins, and carbohydrates. Most people think of it just as carbs, but it's really, really all three. And if you produce too much, a bad thing can happen. It automatically is a signaler to the body when high levels of insulin are present to shut down GH production, but more importantly, to increase lipid production. So you increase your triglycerides, your bad cholesterols, but also your fats. So your body creates fats from sugars and creates fats in your bodies. And so that's how we store fat when we eat lots of sugar. Our bodies don't.
That's my problem.
So think about that next time you go to IHOP. No,
I know. Hey, I didn't. I left just to talk to you.
Okay. Well, but Partition MD, you could benefit from this actually by taking. Let's see. Well, John suggests taking 2 capsules. If you got about 50 grams or more of carbs in that meal, then you could take 2 capsules or 1 capsule if it's less than that, and it will help your body to handle and deliver these nutrients to the cells where you need them, in the muscles and the liver where you need them instead of in fat, but also more importantly in a more healthier way. So but also help deliver, help store proteins and fats in good places where you want.
Well, I'm excited about this one. I am going to have to take that for sure. Get started on that immediately.
The reason why this product is kind of interesting, one of the reasons in the space, is because it should be a highly successful product. The problem is that it requires a certain degree of education. Because most people,
there's so many people they're not aware. They don't know. They don't have friends like you or a nutritionist, to tell them. They just read what's on the label or whatever that people, tell them to buy.
Right, exactly. And so it's like, but I do highly recommend this product. I do think that it's absolutely worth it. And I've been using it. I really like it. I've used, but I've also used metformin before. It absolutely works. The difference between the two, but metformin is a drug, and you usually have to get a prescription for it. And so it works really well, especially like post contest, because when your body is going to overproduce insulin because your body's going to be hypersensitive. It's going to over respond, and so this helps control that a little bit.
Is that rebound effect?
It's the rebound. It's part
that
of
I know so well.
Yeah, it's part of that rebound effect. And the longer you diet, the more hard you restrict your carbs, the more responsive you'll be at the end of it. So, in other words, the more over-responsive, I should say, you'll be. Your body will over-respond. And so the problem is that there's really not a whole lot you can really do other than what they call reverse diet yourself, which can take several weeks, if not months, to really get yourself to that point where your body's not on high alert. This kind of helps speed that process along. So Partition MD is one of those products that can do that. Metformin can do it, of course, but Partition MD is a natural version of this kind of a mechanism. And so I highly recommend it for anybody, especially people who are in their, when you get over 35, the number of years that we had that where our bodies are producing insulin, just naturally our cells attenuate to the insulin. So we naturally are going to have, which is one of the reasons people think it's their thyroid.
That's how that middle age spread comes.
Yeah. Well, exactly. People think that it's because, my metabolism's slowing down. No, your metabolism's not slowing down. It's just doing different things with the nutrients.
Awesome.
So he's like, when I was a kid, when I was in my 20s, I could eat anything I wanted. I never stored any body fat. Well, of course you could. Your body did different things with its nutrients because your cells were not attenuated to your own insulin. That's probably one aspect of it. There's hormonal aspects as well, but that's an important aspect, and we all are subject to this. So, as a matter of fact, you can go in and have a test done with your doctor, get a blood test, and it's they test your hemoglobin A1C to see if you're borderline diabetic or diabetic, see where your insulin resistance is, and then they can also, there's a particular IR test, an insulin resistance test that you can only really usually get from there's a special lipid test. Not many doctors even know about it. It's called an NMR test. N as in Nancy, M as in Mary, R as in Ralph. NMR test, and that test will give you a numerical value of 1 to 100. You want that number to be the lowest you can, and if it gets over 39.45, if it gets over that range, then you're borderline diabetic, and your body is more resistant to your own insulin. And so this is probably a bad thing. It is a bad thing. But that is if people who want to get the test. It's kind of an expensive test, but nonetheless, this product actually does address some of those concerns, and it's a great product. And if anybody wants to, any Prime Nutrition products, use our discount code TAD20 TAD20, and you'll get 20% off. And I highly recommend the Partition MD I highly recommend using it on a daily basis. And typically, you only use it with meals that you have carbohydrates with. So.
Okay, cool.
So
Cannot wait to start it.
Yeah, it's cool.
I'll let you know how it goes next week.
I did try, by the way, their what's it called, the fruits and greens. And
yes, I love those.
Yeah, it tastes like a grape Jolly Rancher. To me, that's what it tastes like to me. I'm like, this is cool. I like it. It's just not super sweet because there's not a lot of carbs in it.
You know what I do? I put it in my aminos while I'm.
Oh, that's a great idea.
I just mix my aminos and I put that in there, and then I just drink it.
Oh, that's a great idea.
It tastes pretty good. It looks kind of weird color.
Yeah.
Grayish black, but it tastes good.
It does. Well, I liked it. I don't like a strong tasting. I was afraid it was going to be like, oh my God, what's this going to taste like? Is this going to taste like a powdered V8 or something? All right. Because I usually eat lots of, I usually eat some fruits and vegetables, and so I never really have too much of an issue. But I did want to try it because I'm becoming more and more cognizant of my health.
But the thing is, in order to us to get the fruits and vegetables total amount that we need, we'd have to take such a huge amount of food.
Well,
and normally we can't do that. So this
normally,
helps.
at least if we want to stay fit and trim, if we can't be eating 10 pounds of fruit a week, probably wouldn't be a great idea.
Right. This is perfect for that.
Well, I know you're out and about, and we had a great show today.
Yes, it was. I had such a great time on the show today.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. Next, I think our next guest is going to be Jason Poston. That'll be next on the lineup. So it's we got an exciting couple of weeks coming up. So thank you so much, Jessica. It was wonderful. It was great to have you as my co-host again, of course. And it was awesome. It was an awesome show. I hope you get to wherever you're going safely this weekend.
I will. Thank you so much, and I will see you guys soon.
All right. See you soon. This is Tad the Diet Coach for 3 Questions. We'll talk to you later.